Hey everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's Harry from Spurs TV back on a match reaction video. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Chelsea 1. This might sound a very defeated video, but just hold on for a minute. So let's first go talk about the starting lineup. As expected, the back four was kind of Spence, Danso, Van de Ven, of course, was captain, and Porro. Obviously, Dogi was on the bench. He did come on later on, but he obviously didn't want to risk him and didn't want to risk Romero, but they both did end up coming on later on. Midfield is an interesting pick. You had Sarr, who was kind of playing as the highest of the three, Bentancur and Paulinho, which probably on paper, when I looked at it, was probably our best choice for midfield three, because that was what was giving us success in the first 5-6 games under Frank, and I thought it was a good move to kind of move back to the three that was working before, actually. But he went Bergvall on the left, which is quite a strange choice, which kind of shows, again, we're just chucking loads of different players down the left-hand side, and none of it seems to be working because they don't really have like an actual, at least competent player there. Let's just use that word for example. Mwani started up front. Didn't get much service. We'll talk about it in a bit, but I thought we did okay, all things considered. And then Kudus was on the right, but again, as per usual, we kind of had to do everything else. But I'm going to start with this. Chelsea are way better than us. They're way more drawn than us. But this is not something that's unexpected. Enzo has had them for longer than Frank has the Spurs players. I mean, plus Chelsea have better players than us. Let's just be real. Garnacho gave us so many problems today. Or yesterday, whatever time you watch this. And also brought on Gittins. They took off, what was his name? Bring on Esteval. They took off one of the other wingers. Neto, I think, came off. Like, they clearly have better depth than us. Let's just be real, yeah? And the players they have, like Caicedo, had us on smoke. And we just couldn't handle their press. I mean, one thing that was really impressed me, I hate to praise Chelsea, but one thing that's really, really impressed me under Maresca is their press. I think their press is probably even better than any other team I've seen in the league. And we just couldn't cope with it. I mean, especially the first half, we could not get out. In the second half, they just didn't let us play, basically. That's what happened. Like I said, there's no shame in us losing 1-0 to Chelsea, right? It hurts because obviously it's Chelsea. But like, if we look at it in footballing terms, we were never going to win that game. And a draw, I would have taken that. I did predict us obviously win 2-1 in my stream on Friday, but that was more, I guess, because I thought maybe they would get a red card. That was one of my train of thoughts, or something would happen again that would go in our favour. There was a few scuffles. Like it was different, like a proper derby, actually, to be fair. They did feel like there was some sort of rivalry between the two players, or two teams of players, for once. And that's kind of good to see, I guess, in the game again, because we've not seen that for a long, long time. But I think Frank thought, let's keep it tight, 0-0, and then try and nick it. And to be fair, I would have probably done the same thing. Like I said, the team he picked kind of fit that mould. One thing I will note, I mean, their goal was a gift from Xavi and Van de Ven, even Spence. They could have, all three of them could have cleared it. But like I said, I mean, their press was, Chelsea's press, I'll say this again, like, was so good. And it was like this last season as well, under Maresca. And this is something that I've noticed with his teams. I think their press is just like insane. They pressed on the mistakes, and we gave them the goal pretty much. It was literally a gift. But we weren't even threatening on set pieces, which I think was a surprise, not a surprise. I think Kudus' corners weren't great. They kind of hung too much. But again, we can't obviously just rely on set pieces. But he did make some changes later on. Johnson, the Odobert came on. But I don't want to get into details of that, because in reality, none of those changes really made an impact on the game. Because like I said, Chelsea's changes were just kind of like for like in terms of quality, and Chelsea had more quality than us. So, as I've always argued, when you have a team with lesser quality playing team with better quality, the best thing to do is to try and nick the win.
What if I told you there was a time when Darth Vader...
Try and nick the win, right? Like, and this is kind of what we did with the lineup. So yeah, man, like, just what can I say? Something to note: Bergwijn was taken off after maybe around the 15-minute mark, and he wasn't very happy about it. And Xavi came on. Now, I was kind of in favour of Xavi not playing because I didn't think he had the physicality for this game. But I don't think Bergwijn was really affected the game at that point anyway. But like the point is that we just couldn't deal with him physically or like pressing wise. And yes, he did bring on Richarlison late on, even though he didn't really change the formation. He just brought him late on, and apparently only had one shot on target. But again, it doesn't really surprise me. Chelsea's just better than us. Like I kind of after they scored, I kind of just accepted that Chelsea are better than us. And it sounds defeatist, but it's just the reality. Chelsea are better than us, and it's because also that Maresca's had better players and he's had an extra year with the players than Frank, who's only been here for like 10 games, 10 Premier League games, a few months. So it's not surprising. To me, the result was not surprising. People aren't happy with the manner in which we lost, but I mean, like I said, the game plan would be like Frank did it. For me, I would have done the same thing, Try and keep it tight. We know Chelsea are better than us, like on paper, with the players they got. So we need to try and keep it tight and then try and nick a goal and then just try and hold the game out after that. But of course, because we conceded, it was never going to work. And obviously, we have struggles at home, mainly because teams come and sit. And we don't have that creative spark. Like someone like Kulusevski would have been brilliant against Chelsea because at least he could have held the ball up and brought us a bit up the pitch. And also the creative aspect of him too. I think we really missed him. Probably, in my opinion, probably more than Maddison against Chelsea. I thought we missed Kulusevski a lot. I think he was perfect for that game, especially because that third player in midfield would have been a more progressive player. And obviously, Frank is trying to keep us tight in the back, like I said, to try and win the game. But we just don't have the attackers to create the amazing chances to score the goals. You saw when we got into the box, we seemed very hesitant. Even Xavi, like I said, I kind of give him some grace because it's his first season in the Premier League. And the rest of the other attackers, apart from Kudus, is basically being run into the ground. We don't really have anyone to like do something, make an impact. Even the changes was just kind of just change the personnel to hope something comes out different. So in reality, the loss is not. I'm not happy with that we lost, but it's just not surprising. And we just have to we have to beat Copenhagen now on Tuesday because if we don't, we're basically out of the Champions League. And also got United at home next, which is not going to be easy. I mean, they drew away to Forest. And things have changed. Their fortunes have changed. It's not surprising. They've only got one game a week, so Amorim's kind of built something more with them. But yeah, it's going to be more like this, unfortunately. And like I said, sound defeatist, but I kind of felt like Chelsea was going to win that game. I guess still, come on, you Spurs.